Alright, I'm going to test my theory on a homemade oxalic acid vaporizer. That's the big thing for mite treatments right now, and those vaporizers are, well, I've seen them from $30 to $80 depending on where you look. I'm going to use an immersion heater, a single cup immersion heater for, they make it for making single cups of tea or warming coffee, and that's what I've got here. This is a 110 volt, so it'll plug up into a standard wall outlet. They also make 12 volt where you can hook them to a car battery, lawnmower battery, anything like that. But all my hives are within reach of electricity, so I opted for the standard plug-in. Not a whole lot special. The handle, where it's flattened out here and here, I had to grind that down just a little bit so I could make 3/4 so that it'll fit into the entrance properly. And then all I had was just a scrap piece of 1/4 inch square steel, and I basically just taped it to the end of the heater, taped the cord to it to make a handle. That way I've got the capacity to reach into the center of a hive. You might be able to, if you're using screen bottom boards, just go right up underneath it. I don't know. But the fancy store models are nothing but a heated container of some sorts. So this is our heat. I'm just going to use some aluminum foil. Yeah, you might have to replace it ever so often, but this is just foil, Reynolds wrap that I folded over several times over, and pushed it in there to make a bowl. And like I said, it'll have to be replaced. I don't know how often, but no big deal. And that's basically it. But I'm gonna pause just for a second to get everything together, and we'll fire this up and see how it does. Alright, I got a 1/2 teaspoon of oxalic acid pre-measured here, so that'd be what you would use in a standard 2 deep colony. And let me get this plugged in and we'll see how it goes. I can see the heat radiating off of it. Okay, there we go. We're starting to get a little bit of vapor. We're stopping right in the middle of that boiling out off, but we've got a storm coming in. The wind's changing directions, and it ended up blowing the vapors back toward me, so I just went ahead and cut it there so that I wouldn't end up breathing those fumes in. But anyways, you can see it got warm enough rather quickly. Started boiling that off, and it'd be a couple minutes that would be dry. The only problem that I could foresee right off is you can see the heat marks on that heating element. I know on the packaging you're supposed to submerge this into water before plugging it up, and then leave it, or into a liquid, and then leave it in a liquid while you unplug it. And I'm thinking that's so that it doesn't overheat. Time will tell how long this element will last, being just in the atmosphere rather than actually underwater. It may last 300 cycles, it may last 30. I don't know. We'll have to see. Probably making sure you leave plenty of time in between treatments. If you've got several hives, letting this cool off, giving it a break would probably prolong it. But I think it'll work just fine. And like I got this off of eBay. Maybe you're lucky enough to have somebody local that carries it. Heating element was $8, free shipping. 10 cents worth of black tape and some scrap metal, and we're in business. So an $8.20 oxalic acid vaporizer. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want. Any suggestions for future videos, just leave them in the comments.